This is kind of like my attempt at doing like a refresher for Unity. I don't know how well this is going to go, but we're going to see. And so, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a new project. And I have all these templates. And since we're making a mobile app, I'm just going to go with mobile. I could do 3D Core. It's probably the same, but we'll just do mobile just to be safe. So I hit this button and I hit that, and I hit the create button on the bottom left. Bottom right. Like this. It's creating. I just tried to do a different one that's all realistic. I'm going to close this now. It's probably not healthy for my Mac anyway. You can hear the fans blaring. Get that closed. The other one opens. Okay, so this one is opening. It's going to take a second. Go for pass forward. Come on. Come on. So what I'm going to do, I think, is just go through what I'm planning to do, but I'll talk it out. So it'll help me and help you. And this is just like the inner life of a programmer or something. I don't know. But let's get this started as fast as we can. And it's loading. It's almost done. Okay, here we go. So what a few things we can do is this is a hierarchy. This is console. It'll be needed when we actually start doing stuff. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit with control, scroll forward. It's a layout. This is a scene view, and this is the game view. You can't really mess with the game view because it's just a projection of what's on your camera. Your camera. Okay, so there's W-E-R-T. W-E-R-T. W is used to move. This is Y direction, X direction, Z direction. Now I'm going to do Control Z 3 times, and then E is for rotate. And if you look on your thing, on your keyboard, you'll see W-E-R-T. They're all next to each other. So what I usually do is I always forget which one is which. So I just go W-E-R-T. Okay, I wanted to scale it. Okay, yeah. So if I zoom in, oh, right, it's a camera. I can't scale it. So this is another thing you can do in the hierarchy. So I'm here and I do 3D object and I do cube. So I can create some primitive 3D objects just by right-clicking here, hitting either create empty, but you can also create 3D, sphere, capsule, cylinder, plane, quad, all these things. This is a cube, right? It's kind of gray, and I can do W, move it over here. Also, let me get my camera to see the object. So I'm moving it this way, this way. Now, that was a W. Then I press E to look at it, and now I'm looking at the cube. Okay, so anyway, so I move this. I can do, and R should be rotate, but it's E. So I'm doing this to rotate the object, and now I'm pressing this to expand it. Anyways, okay, so I have this art. So I had this idea where this camera is going to be looking at a skeleton. So what I want to do is model the skeleton like as if it was so okay, another thing. I go to transform and I hit right click and I hit reset. That's going to set it back to the center at direction 1 1. The only reason it's rotated is because, and now I'm hitting this button to get a camera view to the side. So I do this to get a center, this to the rotate. I can lock it so that way when I rotate, it'll always be in this orientation. But yeah, and I can even make change the way that like the projection is, like pressing this button. I like the way that looks, but it's not as helpful sometimes. Anyway, so my idea was to get this to represent the head, and then I'm gonna press Shift duplicate. No, it's Control duplicate, and now I'm holding the control stick and doing this so it'll snap as I move. Now I'm gonna press the E button, and I'm gonna do this. If you hit the center, you'll make it bigger. This is gonna represent the body for now. And now I'm gonna rename this to head. And I'm gonna rename this to body. And I'm gonna make another one of these. So Control D. Now W to move. Nope, wrong way direction. Control Z. I'm gonna move it this way. I'm gonna move it this way. So this is going to represent the arm. And pressing R to make it scaled. And now I'm going to control duplicate this again. And I'm going to control duplicate this again. But I'm going to make it smaller to represent the hand. By the way, I hate Blender, so this is why I'm using this software instead. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to like rotate these till all fit, but first I'm going to rename these arm. What is it going to be? Hand. I'm also going to do a thing called tag, which I don't know if it's necessary in here, but what I'm doing is right underneath the name, I'm going to, where the thing is named, I want to like name it with a tag. Sometimes like when you have a, okay, there's no point in explaining, I don't think. So I'm going to do body part. And now I got to right click and right now I'm hitting the click and then I'm pressing shift to select all. Then I'm going here on the bottom and hitting body part. I don't even know if I need this because everything is a body part. But like sometimes when you're having collisions, it's nice to know, make sure it's the correct thing. So this is lower forearm, and this is, I know this is called the humerus, but I'm just going to call it upper arm because it's easier for me. And you can make a program to like duplicate this, but for now, I think I'll just, okay, let's try to get this exact. So this is -3, right? And so I'm gonna duplicate these 3, and I'm gonna make these +3. That way they're exact. Okay, that's how we'll do that. Anyways, and now let's get legs. Control D. This is all, this is all just to like model what our skeleton will look like, because we actually have our model, and this top bone is bigger, so let's just yeah, that's good. And then this is Control D, and okay, wait, hang on 1 second. I gotta make this face. I just want to make it look like a foot. Really, it could be a square, and it's the same thing, but I don't know. Anyways, it's gonna look like a. If I move the camera a little bit to see the full thing, it's gonna look like a foot, or like a square, I was gonna say. You can even change this camera. If I go to this camera settings and I go to where it says projection, like the 4th one down, and hit orthogonal, it'll kind of change the way it looks. I really like the way orthogonal looks. And I have to make this bigger by hitting size, which is like the 6th parameter. I don't know. For me, it just feels cooler, but oftentimes you can't make do with just this. It's just like everything's the same. There's no like perspective warping, but we can't do it for like a real 3D object. It's not how we actually see. So anyways, going back, I'm just undoing to perspective. Anyways, so we got these pieces, and these are all leg, I believe. No, not everything. These 3 are leg. Upper leg. Lower leg. And this is just boilerplate work, so we're very soon going to get into useful stuff. So sorry about this part. Control D. And this was at -1, so that's good. So these are going to be at +1. So that's why I did that. And and I'm going to name these. Oh, I got it. This is going to be. Again, I'm really sorry. You got to go through watching this part. Left. I would just skip 15 seconds if I was you. Ooh. This is just because I have to for us to understand. You know, maybe if I was just doing it on my own and I knew what everything was, I wouldn't have to do all this. This is right. I'm possibly procrastinating scripting, which I'm very scared of right now. But I don't know. I hope this is helping. It's helping me for sure. I think while I talk. It's kind of messed up. Left and lastly, okay. Now we're gonna do the impossible. And notice how none of these things are colliding right now. Well, they need to collide in order to show that they exist. So later on, I'll probably make them collide. And what I want to do is also create these spheres, right? And these are going to represent your joints. So they're just going to be, where'd it go? Right there. They're just going to be where everything else is, all big and everything. No. Reset. Moving it up, moving it sideways, making it bigger. Now, there's also a thing called materials. I'll just create them real quick, even though I'm sorry, I'm again sidetracked. I'm gonna make this the color red, and I'm gonna drag this. And I'm not really explaining materials very deeply, but if you had an image, you could also drag it onto the thing, and it would create the. And this is ugly, so I'm gonna change this. No, I'm gonna make it green. I don't like that green. I like this green. Like blue green. Anyways, so what I was thinking is I would have like every time there's a joint, it would do this. Still ugly, so let's make it smaller. Not like that. More like, okay, so instead I'll do this where this is 1, this is 1, 1.5, 1.5. I don't know, basically there'll be joints wherever the joint would be formed, and your idea is like to get an idea of where everything is. It would create these later. So for now, I'm just going to move this ball to the side, delete this, and start my classes. So in the editor, this is your assets. These are packages. You don't worry about that. This is your folder, stuff you like manipulate and edit. So what I just did is I right-click, create a new folder. I'm going to call it scripts. It's always good to organize your stuff into folders. And in this one, I'm going to make a script called body system. And in body system, I'm going to double click. Now, if you have VS Code installed, it'll hopefully open VS Code. It'll open whatever code editor it thinks is best. So first of all, these two functions are not needed in this case. Start is called at the beginning of the program, and update is called once. It's not called every 60 seconds. It's called like multiple times every second, every tick that the computer has that it's running the program, it'll do updates. So this is called every single second. But and there's a way to like make it do it less. So anyway, so what I'm going to do in this one, I'm going to create public body part. So I also don't have this class yet, so it's going to throw an error. Public body part array body parts is equal to, no, I can't do that in Unity. So I'm going to do void start. I could do body parts equal to new body parts, but that's not what you do. Instead, what you do is I'll go back to Unity. It's going to throw an error because it doesn't exist. So I'm going to go to C# script body part. Now, each of these pieces is going to have a body part. That's actually this. I'm just gonna delete it for now. And I'm gonna do something real quick. This is folder 3D object. I'm gonna just put it over here for later. Anyways, scripts. All of these are gonna have the body part class. So I'm gonna drag this, and what you can do is you can drag it onto an object, and it will have that class because I multi-selected everything and then dragged it. If I double click this and go into what's called the inspector, this is your inspector. I can see what I'm clicking. I click on the head. I'm on the head. All of these should have gotten the, okay, so they didn't get the body part because, and I'm gonna go here on the far right of the tab where it has the 3 dots vertically, and it says the script I attached. I'm gonna hit remove component real quick off of this body part, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna multi-select from head to the left foot. I'm gonna get this class in my project, and I'm gonna drag it to the inspector over here. Now, hopefully, they all get it. Okay, now let's see. I go to head, head has a body part, body has a, okay. Anyways, now I'm going back to the scripts, which is Visual Studio, and I'm gonna open body part. This is right here. Now I'm gonna say public string name. Now for this, it's gonna look a little ugly, so I can just ignore this. But name is equal to this dot name. Wait, I don't know if this is gonna work. So let me just see. That would be nice if it worked. Probably won't work. Oh fuck. String is lowercase. I just realized I should do this dot name. There's like a much more complicated version of it when you're not. It's not this. It's like a different object. But let's just see. Okay. Whenever you're playing, it'll by default maximize on play. So I just click that to disable that. And okay, let's check. Okay, so none of these names got set. So that's not what it is. So I'll just quickly go on. I was about to use Edge, because apparently it's faster now. So get game object name in Unity script. All right. Come on. All right. Game object dot name. So okay, I'll try this. But not exactly this, but if this is equal to game, I'll just do this. Yeah, because the script is not a game object, it's just a game object thing. Okay, so now if I hit the play button, okay, yeah, so they all have their names. Okay, cool, perfect. Now what I want to do is go back into script and create this thing called void on collision. So normally what I'm used to doing is on collision enter, which means in a platformer, on collision enter is if this object hits this other object, like this thing's going this way and it knocks into this thing going this way, and they bump into each other. Now what do we do? Like in an enemy, a bullet, it'll like reduce their health. It'll do something like that. Power up, you gain health or become invincible. Now, but this is different. This is on collision. The reason we're doing on collision is because the thing is already set to collide with each other perpetually. And what I'm gonna do is create another function called create joint, void create joint. And so what I'll do is each body part will have joints, and in this case, joint will just be the objects they're connected to. public game object join. And again, this is an array, and it's kind of terrible to like try to learn something first by learning about their arrays. It's better to learn about their stuff, like not their arrays, like their origin, you know. Okay, if collision, I called it call. If call, let's call it collision. It's easier to read. If call collision dot tag is equal to body part. Did I capitalize that earlier? Okay, real quick. Just gonna see if I capitalized the name body. Yeah, I did. Body part. If tag body part. How do you add to? Okay, so joint dot. I might have to make a list. How to add to array in C#. Unity. No, not now. I hate generics. I don't get them. Okay, add to array. No. Okay, let's go back. Can't be that hard. Okay. I really don't want to be wasting your time. Okay, let's just try this. Okay, I just have to use a list. It's very annoying, but I have to. A joint. Game object joint. Game object public list. Game object is joint is equal to new list game object. Now I'm going to say create joint, of course. Joint collision.game. Now this is annoying as well because you don't know about this stuff, but collision.gameObject is because the collision object has a reference to the game object that we collided with. So we're able to get this information this way, .gameObject. Now sometimes they remove features, but there's a longer way to write it called collision get component game object. But these are the same thing. This is the same thing as just writing game object there earlier. But I'm going to keep it the long way so it's easier to like see, because this one will help you a lot more often because you'll need this. This one will apply to a lot more stuff. The other one only works because they haven't removed it yet. Basically, game object. Okay, but I'm procrastinating again. So let's go back. So create joint to the collision.gameObject and game object. Whenever you do just the word game object in the script, it'll just get the game object you're attached to. So that's pretty convenient. You have access to yourself without a bunch of extra words. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna give this two parameters: object to be attached, I guess, and game object self. Honestly, I don't need the self parameter, but I just adding it just in case later. So anyways, all we're going to do in create joint is joint dot add, I think it's add, to be attached. So there's also for loops, like for each body part in joint, like do something, which we're going to add some kind of joint game object later, but for now, create joint if it's colliding. I'm going to also say, so the thing is, this is going to perpetually happen every second, which we don't want to keep creating joints. So what we'll do is bool things created. or not, joints created is equal to false. Now, if the tag is called body part, create joint. So what I'll do is, if to be attached is not, how do you do this? If not in list. If item not in list in C# Unity, okay. Look, my list. If to be attached contains to, wait, I did that wrong. Be attached. If, what do we call it? Joint. If joint contains, and I'm going to put a not. No, I'll just write equals false, so it's easier to read. Equal false, and to be attached is equal to this. What did I do? I'm trying to copy this. All right, joint to be attached, add to be attached. Now, what happens when we have all of our like bones already attached? We don't want to keep going. We want to set joints created to true. So how do we do that? I don't know. Created game object. This is wrong syntax. So if the thing is a body part, create the joint. If it's not in there, add to it. I'm going to say if, for now we're just going to have everything connect to one part. Else, joints created equals false. True. So that's all we're going to do. And now I'm going to have to make everything have a box collider. Okay, we always get errors. Collision does not contain a tag for tag. Right. Collision does not have a tag, so you have to do collision.gameObject.tag. Or this big thing you can also use, gameObject.tag. I don't know if it's easier to read with it this way or the other way, but this is that way it works more often. I tend to use it that way. Okay, so now it says collision does not have a thing for get component. I think I misspelled something. Collision. Okay, let's say it does not have get component. We have to use this way. I'm just saying, in a lot of different situations I found, I had to use get component. So let's just go back. Create. So now I'm create joint game object is collision game object tag. Okay, we have two more of these. Create, what was the error? Create joint does not exist. Okay, I misspelled something. Create joint. Let's go back. What else we got? List. Game object does not contain a thing for add. Okay, so yeah. How to add to list. How to add to list in C#. Oh, I think another thing I should try to do is make this script in JavaScript, see if it's possible. But for now, because that would be helpful for some of our group members who know about JavaScript. So add is capitalized. Yeah, that's one thing about C#. Just some things that used to be lowercase in Java, they made it capitalized, so I guess they don't get sued or something. Okay, now let's try. So we have our beautiful 3D model, and they all have parts, and they all have names, and they all have joints, but they have no joints. Now, nothing is attached to each other, so nothing's going to create, but let's just say that this was moved up here. Now let's see what happens for this arm. It didn't work. That didn't work either. Let's see. Why did it not work? Okay, let's say that this was not collided with this, and then it became collided. Okay, that didn't work. Because that's not how collisions work, I guess. Alright, 1 second. How to check if 3D objects are colliding with each other presently Unity. How to check debug log console. Okay, what's going on? Why aren't they working? Okay. They all have box colliders. And what I'm gonna do is just make these box colliders bigger so their field of collision is bigger. What I'm really doing is this. I'm doing this, not like that. What I'm really doing is making all of their pieces bigger. Like I'm making this big, but only making it shown as this big. That way it'll actually collide with things. Okay, so like nothing is actually working. Let's see. Collision. If collision, no game object tag, body part. Okay, let's see if they have their tags. They have the tag. Okay, let's see. If collision game object tag equal body part create joint if. Okay, so probably this one. No, that's not it. If joint that contains to be attached equals false, joints to be attached. Nah. Now what I gotta do is this. Because I don't know how to do it any other way. So now I'm gonna add it one time, and then I'm gonna say joints created is true, and I'm gonna say if joints. I'll do it over here. If joints created is equal to false. If that don't work, then I'll probably have to turn off the video and learn how to do it. Okay. So these are not colliding. Why are they not colliding? Object collision not working. Unity. All right, this is what I want to happen, right? So this head, is it colliding? Okay, it's not colliding really, but if it was colliding, right? This thing would have a size of 1, and this body part would be attached to it. Oh, what the hell? So what I want to happen is this has five parts, right? And there's a way to do this not manually, like automatically. Right upper arm, forearm, literally forearm's not attached to this. See, that's like kind of where I have an issue. But left upper arm, head. Head might go above it. There's a way to drag these? No, there's not a way. There's okay. It doesn't matter the order. The order's not what we're looking for. Upper leg. And, what I'm doing is I'm dragging these pieces, right? When I go back to body, what I'm going to do is there's a little lock. So now when I click on something, this body is still the thing being shown. Anyways, I'm at upper leg, and I'm at right. I was here, then I'm over here. No, this one. This one? This one. There you are. I wanted to know where everything is. And so now I can start writing what I'm trying to do as a description. So, okay, so that feature is not working, but I'm going to move forward. We're probably going to have to ask somebody how they got their stuff working. I'm gonna go move on to something animation. Okay. Oh, oh yeah, this is gonna be called full body. Or that doesn't sound right. Body skeleton. Um, full body. No, I'm labeling the wrong thing. My bad. This yeah, because I was on lock. So this is skeleton. Full body. Yeah. Like it's full. Anyways, so what I'm doing now is I just multi-selected everything, and then I dragged it into this. And what I'm doing here is I'm making this a child. All of those objects a child, making the skeleton body a parent. Anything with nested stuff is like a parent. They can have unlimited nested children. Everything can have children. This is a body, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Window, and I'm gonna go to Animator, Animation. Oh god. And I'm gonna drag this back into under here, and I'm gonna click Create Animation on this bottom middle area of the animation window on the bottom. When I hit that button, Create, I'm gonna say Rotating, Rotating. And what I want to do is first I want to hit the Record button, and I want to make sure this is long enough. And actually, I'm going to hit the word Add Property. There's a way to do it just without this, but I'm going to go to Transform. So the first tab, Transform, the second tab, Rotate, and this is, let me just show you what happens if I just do something random. If I set the rotation to that, right? What's going to happen when I press play? Oh, it's just being weird. That was a bad example. Let me try here. Let me go here. Instead of that, I'm gonna, okay, let me make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna set this one. So this is the X. 90. 90. What the heck? Okay, well, anyways, so when I press this, it's gonna just do this. I really wanted it to rotate around itself, so I gotta find its center. Well, actually, this thing, how it works is Add Property, Transform, Rotate, and I'm gonna make it rotate around itself. So I'm hitting this little green thing, and I'm holding Control, so it does this. Hopefully this works. I don't know. Okay, the reason it does that is because these objects are not in their center. So this is here. Wait, let's try something. Why does it have to be weird like that? You can also rotate the camera around it instead, if that's easier. But I like rotating the object in this case. Okay, couple of things. These got to get out of here. This has to be centered. Reset. These have to be put back in here. And now this one. What the? Alright. It doesn't even exist anymore. Because, whenever you're editing something and the thing is playing, anything you undo after you stop playing will just get reverted. So be sure never to be editing something while you're in the play mode. I've made that mistake. I know I feel like a lot of people make that mistake. Anyways, so I'm going to create a thing, and it's going to be centered. So create empty skeleton full body. And I'm going to make sure why it's sent. See, it got created in a very random space. So now when I hit the reset button, it'll be here. Now I'm going to make everything back up a child of this by like shift click here, then shift click at the bottom, then drag it into the skeleton, and now it's in here. And now I'm gonna go back to, I hit window, animation, animation. And this window would have not been here by default, and now it would be just kind of anywhere. And then I drag it into where I want it to be. So I'm dragging it into here, next to console and project. So now I'm on this object. I'm hitting the word create, rotating. Yeah, I know. And now I'm going to hit the word record, this little button. And I'm going to try to do it the other way, the way I could have done it before. If I don't add a property and I just kind of wing it, it will wing it for me. It'll give me all of the stuff I need. Now, it's a little bit fast, so what I will do is first I scrolled out with the with the middle scroll wheel up to get myself some space, and that's going to be like this. Oh, that's slow. Somewhere. All right, that's perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is create a bunch of body part labels that I wanted to do. Now, I can do this a couple of ways. Like, I can use UI, or like, because it's really kind of new to me as well. But my whole point was I wanted to create like an illustration of sort of like the rotating text. That was my big point. Okay, I'm trying to remember how to do this effectively. So UI, so that won't be, that's a package. It won't be default. So first let me just try to see what the text will look like. Hello. That didn't do anything. Hello, is it me? Come on, where are you? Let's see, maybe I gotta fit it to the camera size. I hate UI in this camera. I gotta drag this camera here. Alright, so now we have it on the camera, but we still don't see it. Why don't we see it? Maybe I gotta make it bigger? No. Text. I don't know. I might just create a picture for now. Create new and call it insert. How do you insert text? I never insert text. All right, whatever. I'm gonna say go. Oh well. What is wrong with my hand? Go. And we're gonna color this all white. And I'm gonna do another one. Spine. For now. Okay, there is a better way to do this, I know, of course. But this is just a temporary solution, temporary problem. Hand. This is just to illustrate something that can be done. And that's good enough. We can have one for leg. Is doing what I know. Some things, even after years of doing, still don't know how to do. So I'm going to say save as, and this is just what I use. So I'm going back here. I'm going back to my project, which was called, honestly don't know what it was called. It should be up here. My project, I guess. Starts with a name. Either it's this one or it's the other one. Yeah, it's this one. So I'm gonna create a new folder called images, and I'm gonna say body part. Just doing this real quick. This is what I'm doing. I'm adding these images to our scene and making them children of the thing. So I put head here. That didn't work. So these are all going to be sprites. So I'm multi-selecting. I'm going to texture type. I'm going to like the fourth one down, sprite. A sprite is an image that appears in the game. It's not a texture. I'm going to make these all bigger. Okay, actually I'll make it bigger the way you guys know how now. So I'll do this. This is what I want. I want it to be like this. Basically face the camera at all times. I also barely know how to do what's called the line renderer. Let me see if I know how to do it. Line. Please work. Where are you, line renderer? Why are you over there? I don't want you to be over there. It's supposed to, like, there's a script you can do to make the line go from one space to another space. For now, we're just going to create a cube, and we're going to make it point the direction of the thing for now. This is the most jank thing ever. And I guess it's not close to where it was supposed to be reset. Okay. It's good to make every motion happen with a single direction at a time. That way you don't do what I just did. Okay, so this is the body part. Kind of. This is actually skull label. Call it label. And make a couple of these. Control duplicate, control duplicate, control duplicate. And so now I'm moving these to face where they would have been. And basically, I'm going to make one more class to make these images always face the screen. So I also forget how to do sometimes, but it's okay. This thing will go. Oh, first of all, this image right here, I can change it real quick. Where's hand? I just dragged this here and it became hand. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna move it here-ish. And it doesn't look great, but it'll. There's also a thing you can do in the code to make it like disappear unless you're close to it. Which I know how to do, so we'll bring that up later. Also, there's a problem that I'm gonna face where these cubes are gonna rotate because they're children of the original. So what we're needing to do is make them no longer children, because these are not the line renders I would use. These are just for show. Okay. All of these, I want to add a face camera script, which I'm going to make. Face camera. And all of this should be a child to the skeletal system. I'm also going to create another empty object, make it centered, and label it labels. That way it's easier to read. Because these hierarchies, they get really messy, and you want everything to be very organized and neat and hidden. Sometimes people use these folders called hidden. Okay, I put that in the wrong place. Wanted to put that here. They put folders called hide. Anyways, and this might hopefully. So right now, when we hit play, we're gonna just get them rotating, not facing us or anything. But what I want to do is make the images face us. So all of these have face camera. So I'm gonna search for my face camera script. I double click, open VS Code. It's really fast actually. How to make image face camera Unity. I usually just do this every time, basically. I go, whatever you are supposed to be, hippity hoppity, your code is now my property. And let's just see if that works. Sometimes it works. I don't even have a camera object attached, but I think they used some code to make them know what the camera was. All right. I think it's working. Yeah, it's working. It's working. Okay, so that is everything I had to show you guys, basically. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. I know it's kind of weird. All right, Control.